Welcome to Marketing Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. Join Stacy and learn from her 20 years of experience as she shares top-notch advice on marketing best practices for brands and walks you through how to leverage entertainment content and influencer partnerships to increase your brand's overall consumer engagement and, most importantly, your sales.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing Mistakes and How to Avoid Them. I'm Stacy Jones, and today I'm going to talk to you about what happens when a celebrity has more than just a bad day and truly makes a mistake so big that their celebrity endorsement brand partnerships actually suffer. Today we're going to continue the conversation I began in my last podcast about celebrities who've managed to damage brand relationships through their actions, and chat through 7 different celebrity scandals and talk about the brand endorsement deals that they actually impacted. As I stated in my last podcast, no one is perfect, including celebrities. And celebrities know this better than anyone as they live constantly under a bright light and a very fine microscope. One tiny wrong step or social post can send the social world into anarchy. And it may cause a brand to end an endorsement deal if the brand management disagrees with the celebrity's actions, behaviors, or thoughts, especially after a really big screw-up. Effective immediately, and possibly at the cost of millions of dollars. So let's take a look at some celebrity mishaps of when the worst does happen, and a celebrity endorsement deal goes wrong. But even better, what have these brands done, and how do you keep this from happening to your brand? Several years ago, a video of rapper 50 Cent was released which showed him accusing a Cincinnati airport employee of being high while 50 Cent videotaped him. Friends of the employee told the Cincinnati Enquirer that the employee had a social anxiety disorder as well as a hearing impairment. While 50 Cent released a statement apologizing for the video, it didn't stop local Cincinnati bars to pull all of Effin from their shelves, which was the brand that 50 Cent was endorsing. Effin tried to distance themselves from the situation, and they released a statement that said, as a brand that considers social responsibility the highest of priorities, Effin Vodka does not condone the recent behavior of 50 Cent. We've expressed to him our profound disappointment for his actions, which are in no way representative of the brand's values. Now, the brand did not drop 50 Cent, but certainly it made it known that they did not condone his behavior, and that was enough in this case. When Paula Deen admitted to using racial slurs in the past, it was in a confidential video deposition. But when that deposition leaked, the backlash was intense and instant. She lost deals with Walmart, Smithfield Foods, Target, QVC, Home Depot, diabetes drug company Novo Nordisk, Caesar's Palace, and even more so, her TV show contract with the Food Network was terminated. The instant action of the brands Paula Deen had previously endorsed helped save them from the backlash that she received, showing that quick action is often important in these situations. Yet, there were many other brands who decided to delay action, and even continue the partnerships in many cases. And these are the types of comments they publicly made in support of Paula Deen. Universal Furniture. As you know, the hype around this matter has many people rushing to judgment as well as many others rushing to Paula's defense. We believe it is only fair to you, our dealer, our company, and frankly Paula herself, to let the facts play out before taking any action. We have had several conversations with Paula and her team over the weekend. Discrimination of any sort is contrary to both our personal and our corporate philosophy. Our company is in fact full of diversity, and we are richer for it. Or the New York City Wine and Food Festival that she was appearing at. Paula and her family are longtime supporters of our festivals, and this is an unfortunate situation. Well, they had that right. It was unfortunate. Springer Mountain Farms said, we support Paula Deen. We have worked closely with her for the last 2 years and know her to be a compassionate, caring person. We have seen her with all types of people and have never seen any sign of prejudice. We truly believe her when she says she is sorry for any hurt feelings she has caused. We are very pleased with the interview Paula Deen gave this morning, offering her apologies and reaffirming her personal commitment to equality and fairness for all. As an organization, we believe that she and her team are on the right track, and we look forward to continuing to work together. Then Alice Travel said, due to the amazing response we've had in the past years from Paula's fans, we are actually planning 2 Paula Deen cruises for 2014. In the 5 years I've been working with Paula and her staff, it has been an amazing journey. I listened to so many people telling Paula their stories of how she inspired them when they were going through bad times. I had the same experience, so I understand. If Paula goes, we go with her, and from what we are hearing, so are her fans. Then there was the Metro Cooking Show. In that spirit, we intend to go forward with the Metro Cooking Shows in Houston, Dallas, and Washington, D.C. as planned, with Paula as a presenter. At this time, we have no plans to do otherwise. Well, and that's just it. This is a nation of forgiveness and second chances. Either that, or we're a nation of wait until the next thing comes into the limelight and then have everything else fade into the background. With enough time, everything calms down. Now that a few years have passed since her racially charged statements, it seems Paula Deen was given a second chance at having her own TV show. The syndicated show, titled Positively Paula, aired on RFD TV, filming in Paula's home in Savannah, Georgia, with guest appearances from her friends and her family. She even took a crack at cooking healthier meal options in place of the butter-heavy dishes that she's so famous for. Needless to say, she seemed very happy to be able to host a new show, despite being on a network with much lower prestige and status, although RFD definitely targets her Heartland follower base. And then there's Tiger Woods. When news of Tiger Woods' infamous mistress scandal broke, the famous golfer lost endorsement deals with Gillette, managing consultant firm Accenture, AT&T, General Motors, and Gatorade, really almost overnight. However, video game company Electronic Arts and sports giant Nike stayed by his side, somewhat surprising to many in their choosing to not end their partnerships with him. Tiger Woods may have gotten a little bit of a break by these two, but he still reportedly lost around $22 million that year alone in endorsement deals. And while brand endorsement deals have still come his way, they're not in any way the same level as they once were. The fact is, sometimes cutting ties with a dishonored celebrity very quickly can reduce immediate blowback on your brand. However, once the scandal blows over, which they all eventually do, brands may be happier to have stuck by the side of their endorser, especially one as long-term as Nike and Tiger Woods. And now that he's on his way back, playing in tournaments and even winning them, more brands will likely consider working with him again. It's true, time cures all ills, at least usually, and especially with celebrity endorsements. And we have to touch on Kanye West. Kanye has continued throughout the recent years to stay at the center of a very strong publicity PR storm. When his outbursts align with new albums being released, many say that his actions are just another one of his crazy publicity stunts to drive attention and eyes to him. But recently, much of his loyal fan base has felt that he may have been crossing the line a lot further than he was in the past. Not only did he release pictures of himself wearing the now infamous Make America Great hat, but he was also able to get the hat signed by Trump himself, seemingly solidifying his relationship to the president. Add to that his most recent controversial statement about slavery being a choice on TMZ Live, and most would say that Kanye is intentionally trying to commit social suicide. However, in spite of all of the uproar Kanye caused, Adidas, his business partner since 2013, decided to stay alongside the critically acclaimed rapper, stating, "Kanye has been and is a very important part of our strategy and has been a fantastic creator. Kanye and the Yeezy are a very important part of our brand. From a revenue standpoint, less so." Senior Industry Advisor for Sports, Matt Powell over at NPD Group, said this, "It depends on how long the story lasts. You never know what kind of celebrity backlash there's going to be in these cases. I think today's consumers want to know what a brand's values are. If those values don't align with their views, they're prepared to take their business elsewhere." So as a brand, what this means is you need to be able to know your value, and you need to be able to uphold those values as well and state what they are, even when they don't align with something someone else said, such as your celebrity endorser. If you can make sure that, even though this is a face of your brand, but this is not the voice of your brand, you're going to be in a much stronger position. And then there was Martha Stewart and her whole tax evasion. And for many, white-collar crimes undoubtedly put an unwanted mark on your record, and you become kind of a source of shame for an individual, right? Ironically, not the case for Martha Stewart. Dare say, her career is doing better than ever. Many would argue that Stewart's stint in jail in 2005 for insider trading and earlier conviction of tax evasion may have somehow helped her gain more of a following. She has definitely garnered street cred by the likes of those in the urban hip-hop community, such as Snoop Dogg. And in many ways, her legal troubles have only added to her overall popularity. It humanized her. She was no longer someone up on a pedestal. People related, even though they might not actually be doing tax evasion themselves. It made her much more so relatable and someone that people actually kind of got excited to tune into and follow. And the reality is, You never would think that this woman, who's so pulled together, whose house is perfect, whose dining dishes are perfect, whose displays are perfect, would ever commit a crime. And the thought of her actually spending time in jail almost sounds comical, to the point where it mirrors a comedy plotline. But since then, she's gotten a VH1 TV show co-hosting alongside Snoop Dogg called Martha and Snoop's Potluck Dinner Party. She was a surprise hit at the Comedy Central roast of Justin Bieber back in 2015. And earlier this year, she appeared in a hilarious Super Bowl commercial for Jack in the Box's new line of food truck-inspired sandwiches. Her actions have not had lasting impact on her ability to be a brand spokesperson in our more forgiving world of today. And it's pretty safe to say that Martha's relevancy in the pop culture world isn't going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, now she appeals to a much younger demographic. I just met a woman the other day who literally has a dog that she named Martha Stewart, because she thought Martha Stewart embodied everything that a woman should want to be. It was interesting. Then there's Phil Robertson from Duck Dynasty. So, Phil Robertson said some pretty bad things. And Duck Dynasty, which was at the time at the height of its game, it was commanding 14 million viewers during an episode. He opened his mouth, and the show's audience ratings sharply declined. And this was over one Christmas holiday when he decided to voice his beliefs. Ultimately, the show lost over half its viewership, but it still continued until it eventually really petered out, with Phil's controversial statements about both blacks and anti-gay comments lighting that match. But while so many brands did walk away at first, the public outcry of support actually had retailers putting the Duck Dynasty brand back on their shelves after they had pulled it during the controversy, so as not to upset a very large and loyal and vocal fan base. It turns out that the show had a lot of fans who, unfortunately, shared Phil's views. And that puts brands in a very tough situation. Sales versus personal viewpoints. It turned out in this scenario, at least, sales mattered more. And I will tell you, Phil Robertson's comments ended up impacting my own holiday that year, as we were knee-deep in a very large integration deal with Duck Dynasty and had actually already shot the episode where a client was heavily featured, and which included Phil Robertson earlier in November. The amount of calls and emails discussing options and trying to decide how to handle this was intense. We watched how other brands were reacting, what the public and the social media world were saying, and how the media was treating in turn the TV series. A&E, which distributed the TV show, truly didn't know what to do, as they had not built in a plan for this either. Ultimately, the segment aired, but to much lower ratings than initially expected, which was not a happy-making experience for the client. The actual branded product placement integration segment itself was phenomenal, really good. But all of us on the team that had worked so hard for so many days, weeks, nights, along with the client, were disappointed that Phil ever chose to open his mouth and share viewpoints that impacted the work that we had done, that we had worked so hard on. So that's just something that happens. A lot of times, you'll be working with a celebrity and everyone's gung-ho and you're supporting them and you're supporting their content and everything is coming up roses, and something happens and it ends up being a fall for everyone. And then there's stupid decisions, which can cost really big dollars. When a photo of gold medal winning Olympian Michael Phelps surfaced with him smoking pot back in 2009, he lost a $500,000 deal with Kellogg's. Now today, don't know if that would happen, right? With legalization going on. But 9 years ago, absolutely did. His deals with AT&T and Rosetta Stone were also not renewed. If this had occurred a little bit later, it might have been a very different ending to the story, based on more accepted views of marijuana in today's climate. Some of the comments he received included, "Michael's most recent behavior is not consistent with the image of Kellogg's," from, of course, Kellogg's spokesperson. USA Swimming chimed in and said, "We decided to send a strong message to Michael because he disappointed so many people, particularly the hundreds of thousands of USA Swimming member kids who look up to him as a role model and hero." However, stupid mistakes are often quickly forgotten, and now Phelps continued on to be an endorser for Subway and appeared in many of their commercials and ads. Of course, Subway needs to be a little forgiving themselves. They're still dealing with their own issues now on their previous endorser, Jared Fogle. Not so surprising that marijuana pales in comparison to child pornography charges. Let's face it, our society has changed. This is not the 1950s anymore. And social media has allowed people to find others to join together and voice their beliefs. We have a very contentious society right now. What was at one point considered politically correct and a career killer just isn't really that big of a deal anymore in many cases. It may be that we just have so much information now easily accessible. Every little scandal is shared and discussed nonstop until the next scandal comes along and distracts us again. But there are more reasons than just having an endless parade of distracting scandals occurring to allow these bumps in the road to smooth out. Celebrities can find themselves in hot water through bad decisions. Their mistakes, unlike the rest of us, get broadcast around the entire world for everyone to see. Drunk driving, trouble with the law, relationship issues, or negative comments picked up by paparazzi can all derail a campaign if a plan is not in place to respond quickly to the matter. Bad news in the entertainment industry spreads faster than a wildfire. In today's nonstop posting, always tweeting, oversharing world, you must have a crisis plan in place to manage true PR horror stories that will allow your brand to respond in an effective and timely manner. Make sure you listen to my podcast, Creating Celebrity Endorsement Safeguards, where I share tips on how to create your own celebrity partnership safety net in order to create successful celebrity endorsement partnerships. You can also visit our influencer marketing school at learn.hollywoodbranded.com, where our classes provide you and your team actionable insight to help you create the best marketing partnerships for your brand. And make sure you stop by hollywoodbranded.com for more tips. Check out our library, which has infographics, white papers, ebooks, and videos, or our blog, blog.hollywoodbranded.com, which has hundreds of helpful hints on how to make brands, influencer, and entertainment content partnerships a success from the get-go. That's it for this episode. I hope it was helpful, and please let me know if you have any feedback. I'll see you next week. And as always, if you need a little or a lot of help, my agency, Hollywood Branded, is here to lend a hand. If you would leave a review or any questions I can address in the future, I'd really appreciate it, as your feedback helps me know my advice is valuable and interesting to you.
Are you ready to make the magic of product placement, celebrity event activations, or influencer partnerships help your sales? Visit hollywoodbranded.com to gain access to free content to learn which key tactics best fit your brand. You'll find surveys, webinars, daily blogs, ebooks, and guides, all created to make sure you have access to the best possible marketing practices. Let's make that entertainment marketing magic happen for you.